had multiple ideas. Some good, some bad. I had my first good idea. I had you guys rate it in the Discord. I'll put a link into the Discord in the description of this video. But let's see where we start off. Oh yeah, we start off in Bleach. Ichigo Kurosaki. He just got his Zanpakuto and he just killed his first Hollow. He's about to go back in his body. And you see this hulking of a man. He looks over at me and he goes, why are you here? I go, first off, I'm here to do two things. First thing, walks right over to Rukia, slings her over my shoulder, because that's me, is take her to a place to get healed. And second thing, walks right up to Ichigo, pulls my fist back, and he's like, hold on. You can see me? I go, yes! Slam him into the ground so hard it leaves a crater. Right now, I'm currently 8 foot tall. Right now. I'm currently 8 foot tall. Giant muscles. And look nothing like my previous life. This 4 foot tall girl that looks really nice and adorable comes walking up, being like, are you sure you should have done that? I believe it would have been so much easier if you walked with us. And I go, yeah, I'll just carry him. She goes, but your right shoulder's mine. And I go, fine. I'll carry him under my arm. And she goes, okay. So Rukia is over my left shoulder, or Ichigo is under my right. I grab his body and start dragging him by his head. And I'm walking over to Urahara's. I walk over to Urahara's and go, here's the body, soul. Give me it. And he goes, give you what? I said, give me it. He goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, the Hogyoku, give me it. He's like, how do you know I have the Hogyoku? I'm like, you know who I am, right? He goes, yes. You're the first captain of the first guard. Of the first squad. I'm like, yes, and you're the first Kenpachi. And you're the first person to be affected by the Hogyoku. No. Hogyoku just helped me solidify my power. But anyway, he goes, what? I go, that's not important. I immediately get slammed upside the head and I fall into the ground. She's like, ow, that hurt. My arm just falls to the ground and I start slowly getting back up. And she's like, what he meant to say is we're going to take care of everything. The only thing you need to do is get her a normal Gigai so we can take care of everything. And he goes, do you even know what's happening in Soul Society? And I immediately pop my head up out of the ground because I was still stuck in the ground. I go, yes! And that's why I give me the Hogyoku, so everybody knows I have it instead of her, which messes up his plans so far that it's completely off track. And she smacks me upside the head again and goes, we're not supposed to be saying that already. I go, just because we cannot tell him Aizen's whole plan does not mean we can't tell him what his plan currently is, which is framing the person who has Hogyoku in their Gigai for a capital punishment, which means immediate termination via the giant pointy stick on top of the hill. And Urahara's like, what? Yoruichi is not there currently, so don't worry about that. I continue arguing with this tiny midget. I'm like, okay, murder midget, you give me a good idea besides the one I have of me being the host of the Hogyoku. She goes, damn it. I really hate how you sometimes have good ideas. Sometimes I have great ideas. She goes, yes, once a millennium. I go, damn. She goes, my point exactly. So, Keisuke brings out a glass box, and I go, you only have half the Hogyoku. And he goes, what? I go, yeah. Watch this. Shatters the box. Just punches a hole in my stomach, right where the Hogyoku originally was for Rukia, her chest. Releases it, pulls it out, just seals straight up, and he goes, what? I go, don't worry. This is what they'll see me as. Points at a little tiny thing. That's what everybody that's not spiritually aware sees me as. Yeah. Me, Uchiha. Sasuke Uchiha from my last life. And she looks at me and goes, no, show them your real form. I go, I am not showing them my 40-year-old form. And she goes, do it. I go, damn it. Fine. I changed the image from Sasuke Uchiha to a 40-year-old beer gut guy that doesn't look strong but is really freaking strong. And Urahara is completely confused, even though he's a mad genius. He's completely confused at this point because we're just going right over his head. At this point in time, Rukia is starting to wake up because of the power thingy, and her powers are starting to return. I look directly at her, and she sees me and faints. Laz, who Urahara just talks to, is starting to talk to, looks at the thud sound, and says, oh, I don't think you should have been in this room when she was waking up. I go, nah. Doesn't really matter. She's going to see me anyway, and she's going to do that anyway. So, meh. And Laz goes, fair. So we continue talking to Urahara, and maybe 5 minutes later, Rukia wakes back up and goes, what is the very first captain doing here? And I go, yo, I'm here to take over the world and plunge it into absolute darkness. And her jaw's just on the floor. Urahara's over there laughing his butt off. Laz walks right up to me, starts cracking her knuckles, and goes, tell the truth. I go, fine. Keeping the peace in all of the dimensions and making sure nobody kills the monk sitting on the big black throne. And she goes, there we go. I go, frickin' dimensional police. This portal opens and this guy with luscious hair, chiseled face walks out. Be like, where the hell am I? I look directly at him and go, you're Loki from the MCU. The portal's still open. I kick him right back through the portal and be like, nothing to see there. And Laz just face palms. Urahara's like, what? Rukia's just like brain shutting down from either weirdness or just stupidity. No one knows at this point in time. But but at this point in time, you hear a groan from Ichigo. I'm like, ooh, strawberry's coming around. And she immediately looks at me and goes, if you call him Strawberry and you get your face full of sword, I'm going to laugh my ass off. And I go, you've already done that twice. You got no ass left to laugh off. And she immediately death glares me. I'm like, what? It's true. She goes, don't let me bring out my hollow on you. And I go, try it. So she's about to release her hollow. And all of a sudden, Ichigo wakes up and like, yo, Teach, why are you here? I look at him and go, so you do remember me? And he goes, yeah, you're the one who beat my ass multiple times before I actually learned at your dojo. I go, yeah. I don't accept everybody into my dojo. So you leaving my dojo? Why? I was going to teach you Kenjutsu so you can and work on your fighting style with your sword when you actually become your Soul Reaper form. But no, your instructors don't know you good enough to think for you the best. I am sorry that I try to do my best for my students, but guess what? They don't. I'm just blabbering on around in the back, and Laz just walks forward and like, it's your own fault that you lost your mother because you didn't know what was going on. And it's your mother's fault that you lost your mother. So, beat yourself up. Get over it. Now it's time to deal with the real world. If you don't want to deal with the real world, take this, shows a blue pill. Or if you want to continue dealing with the real world, get in your body. And he looks over and sees his body. He goes, huh. It sounds like a Matrix thing. And she goes, it is. Take the blue pill or get in your body. And he goes, I'll get in my body. He goes, how do I do it? She just immediately kicks him and he slides into his body. So he gets back into his body and he starts getting used to his body again. And the next thing you know, I'm slapped upside the head again. And this is normal for Ichigo to see, so he doesn't really do anything. Urahara is just in the background, be like, I'm completely forgotten. Why am I here again? So I'm still a little whining about not being respected enough. And she's like, screw this. Ask your dad who Hercules is. Grabs him jumps up, grabs him in the ear, yanks him down. I'm screaming that she's hurting me and she needs to let go. And she just starts dragging me out. And he goes, what? So Ichigo goes home after Urahara makes sure that he's all healed up and okay. Rukia is just still dumbfounded because she heard the nickname of the very first captain. The second one was Yamamoto. But I was dishonorably discharged from the 13 court guard squads. So they're like, yeah, he ain't in our history. He ain't in our history books. So here's the fun bit. It's going to be really fun. We get back to my dojo. I teach hand-to-hand, disarming techniques, and I have some weapon training programs. Swords, knives, bows, bow staffs, any kind of weapon you can think of, I teach it. Just disclaimer, I don't know how to use most weapons. I barely know anything for the nunchucks. So yeah, don't quote me on any of these because I don't know any real martial arts for any of these weapons. Now, I walk in. I see Tatsuki, Orihime, Chad, and Uryu all sitting there. I'm like, I'm getting dragged in. Sorry. I didn't walk in. I'm getting dragged in. They just hear me like a big man child, and I just sweat drop. And Chad walks up to me and has a few questions. I answer them after Laz lets me go. Orihime asks, does she need hand-to-hand combat again? I walked up to her and said, I'm going to be straight with you. You're very beautiful. You're more beautiful than Laz over there. I immediately get a death glare to the back of my head, and I go, I'm being straight with her. You're very beautiful. There's a lot of shady characters, and you may need this in the future. This isn't so you can rule the world, even though Tatsuki's probably going to rule the world where all female now have to be tomboys, and Tatsuki gets a tick mark on her head. I go, you don't need to even put this in practice. Just learn it here. Once you're done with high school, you can leave, never have to come back. That's my only decision, is I would like all of you to be here till the end of high school. Chad came in roughly 2 years before canon. I don't think he came in 2 years before canon. Originally, I think he came in a few months before canon. Don't remember that timeline, but he came in earlier in this timeline. His grandfather died earlier. He was known as a delinquent because he always got into fights, but he never ended them. And he never started them. I saw him in one of the fights. I walked up to him and asked him, what does he fight for? He says he doesn't fight. I said, why don't you fight? He goes, I don't want to hurt people. I look directly at him and say, that is bullcrap. Every man wants to protect stuff. Laz was right behind me and says, every man? I go, let me rephrase that. That is bullcrap because every man has a little fight in them. If that's a mental fight or if that is a physical fight, you're going to have to fight it one day. I immediately pull out a flyer from my gi that I always wear. Well, a gi that it looks like I always wear. And be like, here's the address of my dojo. Come by and I'll teach you how to protect people better. So you don't get hurt and they don't get hurt. But the people who do hurt others will get hurt. They'll get what they deserve. Laz scolds me immediately after. Now, I don't go anywhere without Laz. So yeah. I'm like Yuichiro and Kenpachi. It's like them. Every Kenpachi has their little sidekick. Unohana had a sidekick, but a little bit after the time that she taught Kenpachi to love fighting, her sidekick died. So that's why she went to the 4th division. That's why Kenpachi's now the 13th division. 11th division. So Uryu I immediately approached Uryu's father when he was young, and I handed him a flyer and says, "Give him that when he starts rebelling," and walked away. When Ichigo was born, I walked by with a big stack of flyers in my hand, and and I walked on Ishin's door. I knocked on Ishin's door. Her Ichigo's mother came out. Completely forgot her name. Misaki. Misaki came out. She's a little pregnant. And I immediately go, I'm new in town. And she doesn't trust that. I go, I'm new in town. And I opened up a dojo. She sees my gi, my pants, and my shoes, which are just slip-ons. And I pull off a flyer and say, yeah, I'm promoting my business to families I feel like either may need defense lessons or may want defense lessons for their children. And I heard that you were expecting from some of my close martial arts friends. Like, what close martial arts friends? I got a friend. He's a really weird guy. I opened a candy shop. Urahara. He approached me when I started opening, and we became friends immediately after. So yeah, he told me that you're expecting, and I came to do this. And Ishin in the back was wondering what was going on because she hadn't come back. Sees him, goes bleach white, and walks away really slowly. And Laz appears in her family room, looks at Ishin and starts tapping her foot. And he goes, "Fine." The gesture for fine, I lose. And he walks up to the thing and goes, "Hello, sir. How can we help you?" And he's doing his best not to act nervous. And I act completely oblivious to who he is. Just completely oblivious. So I explain it, and I say, and you need a little bit of meat on your bones for those. And he looks at the clinic, and I go, for those patients that either thrash or people who want to stop your patients from getting healed. So come on down, and I'll get a little meat on them bones and help you in life. And he goes, "I'll check it out." Just super nervous, but hiding it really well. And Misaki's like, looks at him and notices he's a little nervous. And Ishin's like, closes the door and immediately lets out a giant sigh of relief. And she goes, "Okay, who was he and what position was he at?" And Ishin's like, "He wasn't the first Soul Reaper, but he was the first captain. He's also the first Kenpachi and the unkillable war machine." She's like, "To what?" He goes, "His title was Captain Kenpachi. That was his title because he was unkillable. He was a man of battle. He was only given respect because he could own that respect via fights. Now, here's the thing that I want you to do. If you ever see him, give him as much respect as you feel he deserves. Because if you give him too much respect, he becomes pissed. And if you give too little respect, which is really hard to do, but give him too little respect, he gets pissed. He's very finicky. And if you ever see this 4-foot girl that looks no older than like 18 or 19, don't piss her off because he's absolutely terrified of her. And he's the only thing keeping her from attacking everybody around them. And she's the only thing keeping him from going absolute ape on everybody around him because of his Zanbakuto. So be careful around them, please." She heard all this and goes, "He's the perfect one to teach Ichigo." And he goes, "What?" And she goes, "I just thought of a boy's name. It means protector. Ichigo. And Ishin's like, it also means strawberry. She goes, yeah, it could also mean that. But I like protector more. And he goes, okay. A few years later, Ichigo goes to this dojo, becomes friends with Itsuki, Orihime, and Orihime's brother. He didn't like Orihime's brother very much, so he didn't talk to them. But Itsuki and Orihime were interesting for him. Orihime stuttered and blushed around him like Hinata. Itsuki was more like Sakura bluntness. She thought he was a crybaby and wimpy. Just saying, that's the ship. So, they got along. They enjoyed being around each other. And roughly around the age 5, 6, not very long in, the first hollow attack on Ichigo's mother, Grand Fisher. I went home with them being like, I don't feel right about today. Laz will go home with each of the children unless they already have a parent with them. And he walks out being like, I don't feel like today would be a good day for you to walk home alone. A beautiful lady like you, and you're gonna be strong little protector. I feel like I should help. And she goes, okay. I walk home with them. I move so fast that all Misaki sees is a blur. Ichigo doesn't see anything. Grand Fisher didn't see anything. He's dead in the creek. And Misaki, her eyes widen just very littly and goes back to normal. And tells Ichigo, why don't we get home quickly? Maybe your father has dinner going. I catch up to them after being like, I gotta do something real quick. Grand Fisher's gone. And a few months later, Grand Fisher happened before the fateful day. So, Grand Fisher's gone. The faithful day where she loses her abilities happens while she's alone. This is after Uzu and Karen are born. They're roughly 1 year old. This is after that. And when she's coming home alone, she doesn't notice this hollow behind her because her abilities are completely gone. She never noticed her abilities drain. So, her abilities are completely gone. She dies. It reports on the news that a lady, the female Kurosaki, the mother of 3 children, got attacked by a mugger in the alley. I'm currently across the country dealing with something. And I get back. And I am pissed. Laz sees this because I got back and she just sees my skin turning red and the chains appearing on my skin. So she takes out her gloves, punches me in the head. I completely shoot out of my body. The chains fully manifest. And they immediately sink into the ground around me. And I'm just pulling at them. Yes. I have a berserk mode. And she goes, "You get 1 day to calm down, or I'll calm you down." She opens our garganta and kicks me through it. That day was called the Purge of Hueco Mundo. The only people who survived are Stark, Grimjaw, and Tia Harrible. Elkior is gone. The mad scientist is gone. Eisen has lost an arm. A lot of people are going to be hurt. The only one who was not harmed whatsoever was Nell. She was in Hueco Mundo still. In Last Nacho. In Las Noches. She was still there. She was still number 3. And I came barreling in like a wrecking ball. Nell, Stark, Tia Harrible, and Grimjaw killed me in total 4 times. They cut my head off. I fall to the ground. Then they see my head slowly roll back to my body and fuse back on. The red that was tinting my skin doubled in intensity. They kill me again with a blast through the heart of a Grand Race arrow, through the heart from Stark. It slowly closes up while I'm just standing there, unmoving. My blade has gotten thicker and heavier and bigger. Yes, it's going to get a lot bigger. 2 of the 12 chains that are on me have now snapped. The one around my neck is gone. The one that has a padlock over my heart is gone. I have one over my arms, one over my legs, and the rest are on my chest, reaching that padlock. So I'm shredding more and more hollows. Eisen doesn't know about any of this, besides the point of, oh crap, someone came into Hueco Mundo, is wrecking face. Exactly 24 hours in the real world, or the human world, Laz comes in, finds me snapping in the middle of the deserts of Hueco Mundo, grabs me by the chain on my neck, and throws me back through the portal. And she just looks around, seeing the carnage I left. And she sees the beginning of a shield. And she goes, ah, crap. He died 4 times. That ain't good. Because if he dies all 12 times, I ain't going to be able to stop him unless I go Bankai. I go Bankai. I ain't saving him. I'm killing him myself. So another 24 hours later, the dojo reopens because I'm feeling better. I'm fully awake. I'm now in control of myself from not rage. But I'm still a little depressed on the inside. Ichigo never shows back up. I got to know Misaki. I got to know Ishin. Ichigo never shows back up. Ishin still comes every once a month. The same day of the month. I'm just going to guess a random day. 15th of the month. When the day of the month that she died. And comes by and spars with me. Because in human form, our powers are limited to 0.0001% of what they should be. And that is why humans can't handle hollows. So, that's still a ton for me because I just blitzed through millions and millions of hollows and just passed out at the end. The only ones who really had a chance were the RN cars and the RN cars because they have the Grand Racero and releases. Yeah, Stark had to be in release with the Grand Racero to puncture my heart completely, to kill me. I ain't gonna say how they killed me the other 2 times because that was just a trick of one of her abilities. Yeah, Tia Harrible used her abilities to basically eat me alive, and I came back twice. So yeah. So the only one who can really stop me without taking fatal damage is Tia Harrible, and she's now weakened because she used a lot of her power, and yada yada yada. Don't worry about that yet. But we go back to present time. Rukia is talking to Urahara, and Urahara is telling her that, yeah, I was going to plan to give you a Gigai that will make you human and make you have to go through death to destroy something, but apparently ye old captain over there points at a spot on the map where my dojo is, thinks he's better able to protect it. All of a sudden, something appears above his head out of a Garganta, and it's just a giant book, and it says 3 million reasons why I can protect it better than Rukia. He goes, well, damn. And he opens and he reads the first scenario, what happened in canon. Second scenario, just a tiny twist in canon. Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and so on, all the way up until the last scenario, where I win against Aizen without even trying. I just accidentally breathed on Aizen while he was still in soul form, and he just went pop. No, no Sanpakto, no nothing. Just he went pop. Yeah. He's like, he actually wrote 3 million different ways he would win. He could win. And he's curious on why I didn't, oh fudge, and implement these ways. All of a sudden, another book falls on his head. It says 3 million ways I could have killed him, but didn't. And then the piece of paper falls down, and on the big heading, rule number 1 of fighting your enemy: you must know your enemy. You must fool your enemy. And you must keep your enemy an idiot. And he goes, what? And on the bottom of the page it says, P.S. The Hogyoku didn't give me a hollow form. And the paper just starts burning after that. Burning off what the last message said. And Urahara is completely confused. And, oh God, I'm tired. I was running around all day in the house. So, he's completely confused. So he tells Rukia that he'll get her all the things she needs And the next day at the high school, everybody's called to the auditorium and told they got a new teacher, physical education teacher. And physical education is now required for everybody at least once a week. And I walk out on the stage. Laz is currently on my right shoulder. And she goes, "Hi. Yeah, I'm teaching you. This big oaf is just here to assist me." I immediately glare up at her and go, "I'm the martial arts teacher." She goes, "And I'm the physical trainer." Oh, damn. So I grab the mic and I just hand it to Laz. Laz goes, "Hi, I'm the certified physical trainer that has applied to be your teacher. And I'm here to make sure all of you are in physical peak performance so you guys can actually have a good life." And she goes, "This big oaf underneath me." I just immediately have a cloud of depression, just sink down, start drawing circles on the ground. And she goes, "Don't mind him. He's going to be my assistant. He also runs a dojo, and the people who he sees potential in, he's going to be handing flyers to. If you guys do enjoy my training, you can come to the dojo and ask for my assistance to keep training. Or I do have the ability to give you quick online tips for a little bit of money to keep training." And she goes, "That's all going to be on a business card on your desks when you get back to class." They all look at her like, "What? Hasn't even been 5 minutes." She goes, "Well, I got to go set up the gym and the track area and all that. Hopefully you enjoy. See you in maybe an hour or two, whichever class you are." And she just turns off the mic and starts mad cackling. I grab the mic, put it back in the mic stand, and I stand up fully erect, and I walk right over to the door. I grab Laz off my shoulder, put her on the ground. She walks right underneath the door. She has a good, 3 feet. I walk right to the door and slam my way through it. And everybody's like, "What the hell?" The teachers just didn't notice. All the students are like, "What the hell?" They're all looking around like, "Could we do that?" Sato walks up, they're like, "Huh, I don't got a duck anymore." And just walks right through, tall. Orihime's following him. Ichigo follows them. Uryu just looks at it, goes, "Man, I thought his head was hard." Then he feels a shiver down his spine, be like, "I should not have said that, should I?" He just looks around. He just keeps walking. He just looks around the corner. He just sees my eyes poking out from one of the doors, being like, "I heard that." He's like, "Oh, crap." And I go, "When you come to the dojo later, no gloves." And he goes, "Oh, frick." My arm's going to be frickin' hurting. My finger's going to be bleeding again. I'm just staring him down. So we go later that day. Laz finished her class. Everybody enjoyed it. And I come to pick her up. I pick her up and I'm like, I still don't know how the hell you get kids to enjoy a working out. I sure as hell didn't when I was little. And everybody turns their head towards me and goes, "Are you naturally that tall?" I go, yeah, I am. And she goes, "You're only naturally that tall because of that." I go, yeah, I know. Ugh. Damn circumstance. I can't fit in most doors. She goes, "Yeah, and I fit in 90% of the doors. I can't fit in doggy doors, though." I go, yeah, you can. Great Dame doors. And she goes, you want me to get the slipper out? He goes, I put it up high. And she goes, you know I can jump to your head, right? I go, crap. I need to put it at the top cabinet. She goes, I can climb like a spider monkey. You know that, right? I go, I'm so screwed. And they all hear this. They're like, are they married? I just completely ignore this because I didn't hear them. But Laz, on the other hand, is like, would we still be? I go, still be what? She goes, married. I go, if you wanna. She goes, that gives me no confidence in your decision. I go, I learned that my decision's always wrong. Yours is always right. What do you want me to say? And she goes, to agree with me? I go, how can I agree with you when you haven't told your opinion? And she goes, fair point. You're only right this one time. I go, okay. And they're all like, how old are they? I go, she's always 21. They're like, what? I go, I stopped counting. I'm old as dirt, though. They all heard me yell that, and the married men in the school just start laughing because that's exactly what they did. They stopped counting their wives' ages when they first met them. So, whatever age their wife is now, still the same as when they met them. At least when they're around. Except for me, because Laz is always freaking around. So, I walk right up to Ishin and go, what is your true last name? He goes, what do you mean? I go, what is your true last name? He goes, why? I go, say it! He goes, Uchiha. I look directly at Laz and go, and you said they're all dead. And she goes, he was technically dead. She looks directly at Ishin and goes, were you born in the Soul Society? And he goes, yeah. And she goes, ha! They're technically all dead. I go, nah, semantics. Still win. He's alive and a gigai. She goes, but technically he's not, though. I look directly at her and go, oh my god, shut up. Our family's not dead yet. She goes, but do you not remember Itachi got laid by Izumi later on and they got married and they had children? And I go, my god, I'm an Uchiha. My family's not dead. I'm happy. She goes, I know. Can't believe my family went so freaking weird. And I go, yeah, your family became Shiba. She goes, I know. Freaking Byakuya. So much of a stick in the mud. And he goes, wait, what? I look directly at him and go, you, my good sir, are one of my relative descendants. One of my relatives. A descendant from my family, when I was alive at least. I lost that name when I got here. I became Herc the Jerk. She slaps me in the back of the head, being like, no, you became Hercules. And your 12 labors. I go, don't remind me on how I unlocked my stupid Zanpakuto. Ugh. And he goes, wait, what? I never heard this story. I go, oh, God, I had to subdue my Zanpakuto. And he goes, how did you do that? And I go, I had to kill all the freaking labors. I had to do them. And he goes, what were the labors? Stag, boar, lion, hydra. And he goes, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's all Greek stuff. I go, I know, it's so weird. What were the other few? Stag, boar, hydra, lion. I don't remember all of them. I don't remember my Bankai when I use it. I just, yeah. I remember when, and a little guy, Yama, I look directly at her and go, he's been taller than you since he was born. And she goes, he's still little guy Yama. I go, fine. Little guy Yama for you. Yeah, little guy Yama. He had to stop. The big man right here points at me and goes, yeah, he had to stop him. It's quite entertaining. And Ishin's like, okay, first off, I'm planning on re-enrolling Ichigo here. I go, I don't have anyone under the name Ichigo here, but I do have someone under the name Khan, which I do remember correctly is a mod soul from the discarded batch that actually had a personality and not program. And he goes, God damn it, Urahara. I'm gonna kick his ass. Oh, don't worry, I already did. Yeah, Urahara is gonna feel it for the next few weeks. And he goes, fair. I look over at the dojo and go, Khan, stop trying to grope her. He goes, but I look directly at Khan and say, just because you're in Ichigo's body does not mean you get to act like yourself. You have to act like Ichigo currently. And Uryu, Chad, Orihime, and Itsuka are just like, okay, this is an average day occurrence. And he immediately looks at me and goes, they already know. I go, they felt the spike of Ryatsu from Ichigo. And he goes, what? And I go, look at Orihime's pendants in her hair. He goes, yeah. Those are Fullbringer items. Look at the gloves that Chad currently is wearing. Fullbringer items. Oh, don't forget the sneakers on Itsuka. Those are Fullbringer items. Ooh. You know your daughter, Karen? And he goes, yeah. You know that little coin that she always uses? He goes, yeah. Her Fullbringer is called Lucky Flip. If she flips the coin for luck, it'll always happen in her favor. There's a downside of it, though. And he goes, what is it? She can only use it once a month. And he goes, how do you know this? And I go, hey, who taught her to never let go of that coin? You did. I go, hey, I have all my fingers inside these pies. Laz hears that and knows that she baked pies. She goes, that better be a figure of speech. I go, yes, it was. She immediately runs into the house and looks into the kitchen. And immediate killing intent is blasted at me. Orihime, Itsuka, Uryu, and Chad are all like, we're gonna go home for the day. Have a great rest of the day. And they grab Khan and go, It's best for us to leave now. So I go, I suggest you leave unless you want to see me have a sparring match. He goes, a sparring match? I go, yes. He pulls out a key, slams it into his heart and turns it, and falls out of his body. I slam it into my heart and turn it. I fall out of my body. Well, my body falls out of me. I stand up, start cracking my neck. This white, like, bone armor starts appearing on me. And I look like this. And the mask opens up. Give me a second. I need to find the image of the mouth. The mask opens up to look like that. That's going to be my hollow hole. And yes, that is what I look like. 2 shields looking things appear in my arms. I spin them around. Yes, the points are facing Laz. And I stomp my foot really hard. The entire floor opens up like a trapdoor and plunges us a good 300 meters underground. And all you hear is the sharpening of metal against metal. And you just see this. A spear, 2 sickles, a bow, and a sampak toe in her hand. In her hands. Her mask is over her face completely. Her hollow hole is right where the beginning of her lungs is. Right in the middle of her chest where the dividing part for her lungs is. And it is a special hollow hole. Because you can't hit anything in it, but you can see the lungs, the rib cage, the chest plate, everything there. Can't touch any of it, but it's all there. It looks like it's all there. My jaw is just gone. Like in that photo. But you can still hear me speak. Ishin is currently above us. 300 meters above us. On top of a keto platform that I made for him. When I unlocked my powers. Laz screams at me that she made those for Ichigo when he comes back. I yelled at her that Ichigo isn't coming back because I failed him. And she goes, he's coming back because she's going to make him come back. And I yell back at her that I'm not going to let him come back unless it's his choice. So she starts throwing punches. I start throwing basically punches. And we start clashing blades. And all of a sudden, Ishin just sees blurs. And finally sees me fall down. My head's cut off. And she's still in fighting stance. And he thinks, oh, it's over. He's dead. He hasn't seen me go full out yet. Most people haven't seen me go full out yet. So don't worry. But yeah. I fall down. My head rolls back over to my body. Reattaches itself. I get back up. The armor starts to show cracks. And this black light coming out of it. Like a black dark glow from it. So we continue fighting. I die another 6 times. The helmet has fallen off, and you see that black helmet instead. Full jaw. Full covering. My shields have shattered into black bone armor ones. And I'm still fighting fiercely. I'm fighting harder now than I was at the beginning. She's starting to slow down. And since I unlocked it instead of dying to shatter a chain, I still have my mind completely intact. I haven't even activated Bankai. She's already activated Bankai. I won't tell you what it is right now, because it's very important later. Actually, I completely forgot what I made her have Bankai is. But it's activated. She's killed me multiple times with it. Ishin sees her slowing down and sees me more basically making heavier and heavier blows every time I basically die. She's now killed me 8 times. Because she just killed me again. She's now killed me 8 times. Everything from my stomach region down is still covered in white bone armor. But everything above that and the shields are completely black. Looks menacing. I finally had enough, so I flip it back around to where the spikes are and land a devastating backhand to her, impaling her to a wall through her hollow hole. And Ishin is like, what did you fight over again? She calms down, she reverts, falls asleep. I pick her up, bridal style, take her to her room. I come back. I hop in my body, yank the key out, and walk right over to him. I sit down. I'm breathing heavy. And I looked directly at him and said, she feels responsible for him. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, I have all the kids call me Herc because it's really hard to say Hercules. So I was called Uncle Herc by Ichigo when he was little, and she was called Auntie Laz. And she became attached to Ichigo. And he goes, okay, that makes sense. I go, he stopped coming after his mother's death. Every few months, she baked something thinking he'd come back, and she'd give him a I'm sorry we couldn't help any further, or gift and something, and I would have to sneak it out and be like, I don't know where it is. Every once in a while, I don't finish it fast enough, and I have to hide it somewhere in the kitchen, and she finds it every other once in a while, and we have that. Just points down where the floor is closed back up, and we have that. Full out spar, no hold bars. Only issue, can't kill. And he goes, that makes sense. But I didn't feel your power whatsoever. And he goes, I have enough power to kill the Soul King. That's also a reason why I was kicked out of the Gotei 13. I can kill the Soul King. And he goes, the Soul King's immortal. I go, no, he's not. He's just a monk on a chair. He's pretty much brain dead. He goes, no. And I go, okay. Have you ever been put in Squad Zero? He goes, no. I go, I was. You know that guy, I don't remember his name, that claims to be the founder of the Shikai and Bankai? He goes, yeah. That was actually me. I founded Bankai, and I'm the only one his ability doesn't actually work on. So yeah. Nobody can touch me. And he goes, what do you mean nobody can touch you? I have enough power to kill the Soul King. I have enough power to eradicate Hueco Mundo. I have enough power to eradicate hell. I have enough power to eradicate everything in existence if I've died enough. And he goes, what do you mean? I go, I've only activated my Bankai twice. Once, when I was swarming, when I had to fight hell, literally fight hell to keep it in its confines. Second, when I had a no holds bars spar against every captain, lieutenant, and everybody underneath. Only people were left was Old Man Yama and his 2 students. They're doing really well. And Yama even told them, do not kill him the 12th time. And I didn't activate my abilities I didn't go full power off the bat. No, I gave them the challenge of fighting me at base form, and I don't activate anything. I forget which one of them. I think it was the pink guy. But yeah, he accidentally landed the killing blow. Padlock got cut in half. I fell to the ground. And Yama was like, aw, crap, we're screwed. And he yelled at them to get out of the fight. I don't remember what happened. Apparently, I started laughing. All 12 of the labors came out. The stag, the boar, the lion, the hydra, everything came out. Oh, the birds. I remember the Stymphalian birds. Yamamoto slayed the hydra, the birds, and the lion. The boar, the stag, and everything else is what overwhelmed him. Until he used Bankai. Then he got rid of the rest of them. I'm such in a mad, crazed state. I fought him to a standstill. Ishin is like, what? I go, yeah, I fought him to a standstill. The only person who didn't join the fight was Laz. When my Bankai is active, I gain infinite stamina. So my Ryatsu's regenerating as fast as I use it. Which is really freaking fast, by the way. At the cost of losing my mind. So, Laz joined. And this is how we got our hollows. She activated her Bankai. And the only way to calm me down was her killing herself. I look directly at him and go, she stabbed herself with a hollow's hand. A hollow snuck into Sarate, and we kept releasing so much Ryatsu, so they snuck in and they found the fight, and I ripped them apart. She stabbed herself with it. And that flipped a switch in me. I went absolute berserk on the last piece of the hollow that was stuck in Sarate. I kept ripping it further and further apart. I didn't notice I got cut by it. This wasn't a normal hollow. And the difference between me and her is where her hollow hole is where she got stabbed. I got cut on the leg, and a piece of the hollow flew into my wound. Now, that doesn't sound so bad, but I healed up as fast as I hurt myself. So it's trapped in my body at this point in time. And at this time, I just don't care. I keep slamming the ground 3 hours later, nothing, absolutely nothing survived the crater. So, God, I'm having hiccups, sorry. Nothing survived the crater. And when I next wake up, I hear all this. I only know it flew into my wound because next time I get cut, I see this piece fly out of my skin. I'm like, what the hell is that? So I catch it, and it's the nail of a hollow. I don't know how long it's been sapping my Ryatsu. I don't know how long it's been in my body. So I go to Urahara, and I ask him to do a checkup on me with all of his fancy equipment and all that crap. Next thing I know, I see the results and erase them. I'm like, well, damn. I go, why did you want me to do the checkup? Because apparently everything says you're fine. I pulled up and changed the dates of past results. And I go, because I had a piece of hollow stuck in me. I didn't know what was happening, but I got it out. He goes, that's an interesting concept. What if a Shinigami could harness holopaths? I'm like, that is a very dangerous way to think. I don't suggest you do that because you could get kicked out of the Cerate. And he goes, meh. I immediately go to Laz and say, we're leaving. She asked why. I go, we're both infected with hollow. Ishin's like, wasn't this? I go, yes. This was close to 100 or 200 years ago. He goes, but I was a captain back then. Why don't I remember you? I go, you weren't a captain back then. This was the year before you became a captain. Urahara was the only one I could trust in the science division without them basically hovering over their console waiting for the details. He just looks at me and go, so you used Urahara? And I go, yep. I left Cerate immediately after, and I became a rogue Shinigami. He looks at me and goes, so that's why you left. I go, yep. Laz and I got infected by a hollow. And this hollow was very, how should I put it? Determined. That's how I should put it. Determined. Looks at me and goes, determined? Oh, yes, determined. He goes, care to elaborate? Sorry, yeah, I will. It was called a beetle hollow. I nicknamed it Chome. He goes, why did you nickname it Chome? Because it had 7 tails. It had what? I go, yeah, it had 7 foxtails behind it. So I just nicknamed it Chome when I saw it again. He goes, you saw it again? I go, yeah, up here. Points at his head. I go, yeah. It's apparently a defensive hollow that is meant to be able to take whatever kind of hit possible. And apparently, it remembers its last life now. And he goes, wait, what? Oh, yeah. I actually got 9 hollows stuck in my head. And he goes, you what? I go, yeah. Laz doesn't know this, but I have the 9-tailed beasts. He goes, yeah, the what? I go, it's too much to explain today. So, see you next time. Next time, bring Ichigo. Because I have a Laz, because Laz is probably going to kick my ass again if I do that. And she's going to be checking on every 5 minutes. So please, bring Ichigo. Yes, I'll try. I'm going to end it here. If you guys enjoyed, please click that like button. If you guys didn't, click that dislike button because nobody else is going to see it. It pretty much doesn't affect me anymore. Sadly. I like seeing the people who dislike my videos. Want to know why? Because I can see how many people think I could do it better. So, if you guys did like it, like button, comment what you liked about it. Yeah, this is a... What if I was in Bleach? If you guys haven't noticed. Yeah. A lot of mythology about Hercules. He did some shady stuff. So I'm going to call him Herc the Jerk every once in a while. If you have not read any of the Percy Jackson books, I suggest you read some of the Percy Jackson books because they call him Herc the Jerk. There's also many different myths about Hercules, many different kinds or versions of the myth. One is where Hercules tricked Artemis to kill her own stag and so on. Yeah. I don't know how he did that one because he's not very smart in other myths. But, so hopefully you guys enjoyed. Talk to you guys later. Bye.